How's it going, everybody? It is I, OPTCG, bringing you guys some sim match replays here. Today we're going to be using Black Crocodile, one of my fan favorites for this OP14 format, but we got a little bit of spice as we are playing it with the Hakuba from OP05. If you never heard of this card Hakuba before, hey, I can't blame you. This card has never seen any competitive play, but let me tell you a little bit of why I think this card fits nicely in this deck and what it could add to Black Crocodile. Hakuba reads as follows: Don ×1 when attacking, you may KO one of your other characters besides this card, then you give one of your opponent's characters -5 cost. What's really nice about this card is that it basically is another leader effect for one Don. So we're able to pair that with cards that have our on KO effects like Hakuba and Crocodile, or the most prominent of the deck is that of Crocodile. So not only is Crocodile going to be able to stun card when it's on played, but you can use your leader effect as well to KO it and bring it back onto the board using its on KO effect, stunning another card in the process, and this is where Hakuba can come in and be an additional way to KO your Crocodile, causing for a 3-stun turn. As for the cons of this card, yes, it is not searchable with the rest of the deck as it is Dressrosa and Beautiful Pirates, and yes, it is 5 cost, so it is pretty susceptible to a lot of removal that is in our current format. However, into the right matchups, this can definitely plant itself on the board, and if you're not swinging it sideways or doing anything with it until you actually need to use it, it will stick around for a while. The small saving grace of this card is that it does have a 1k counter, so at worst, that's what it could be for you, especially if you don't see it on curve or in the early game. As for cards that we're taking out of the Crocodile deck, Crocodile is a pretty built deck around all of the Brokeworks cards, so we're basically mishmashing a lot of those in there. The cards we're taking out are going to be Patchwork. We're lowering this down to 2 since the Hakuba kind of does what this card is trying to do, and we are just taking out one Mr. 4 or Babe, whatever you want to call it. This card doesn't really get too much play and it's not too helpful, so just having one is good enough in this situation. So let's get into the games and I'll show you what this deck can do. Alrighty, the first game we're showing off today is going to be versus Green Drakial Mihawk. We're going to be made to go first. We have a beautiful hand for going first, as we see our All Sunday in our opener. We're going to start off with a Disappointed, searching us for probably a second turn play. Since we're going to be at 3 down, we got not much to play here, so we'll get a Valentine to fill up our trash, help out our Zala so that we can enable it to be 7k power with a +2 cost to all of our characters. Our opponent's going to go Coffin Boat Perona here. We're going to start it off with Mikata. We will go search, probably going to put our Bon Clay into the trash here. We want to facilitate it for our Sunday plays. We'll pick up a 2k counter because we're going to play out this Merry Christmas, and watch this as we are going to ruin this Mihawk's day by removing the stage with our Merry Christmas effect and drawing a card in the process while filling up our trash. We'll go for another Mikata, search for our Crocodile. We are ready and loaded for the late game, and we'll just swing a measly 5, have them take it, and pass it on over. Now on their 4-down turn, they no longer have stage, so this kind of makes things easier for us. Okay, there's another stage, so no longer going to have that option to remove it as we don't have a Merry Christmas in our hand, so they might as well keep it for now. They're going to play out another Perona. This is good for us. We just really need them to put nothing down on the board and commit to the board later, so that way we can use our Crocodile and stun them. Our opponent picks up a Billion-fold World Trachylocasm. Yep, try saying that 3 times fast. I'm not going to do it. This card is the +4k if there is 8 rested cards on the board. Opponent will swing 5, and there is the man of the hour. That is the Hakuba that we're going to probably be playing down on our next turn, especially if our opponent doesn't have anything to put pressure on the board. We basically have a free turn to play with here. Our opponent passes with 3 Don up, and yep, we're just going to go ahead, slam it on the board. We should have swung 5 first. This was a sequencing error, just in case of some silly triggers or silly event cards that we would be playing into, but I don't think that's going to happen in this case. Our opponent most likely is just going to give us a 1k counter, especially they got a big hand size at this moment. I don't see why they wouldn't just do that. Okay, they're not. They're going to go ahead and take that life. Probably searching for something, especially with double Perona in the opener and not seeing too many combo pieces. Big 5 cost Perona is going to come down here and prevent our characters from resting. That's okay, because we were not going to be swinging with this Hakuba anyways. So for us, this really doesn't hurt too bad. If anything, it hurts them more than it hurts us. They're going to use their Mihawk effect, restand 3 Don. Now we can either see them swing like a 5 and a 6 with their leader and Perona. They're not. They're just going to swing 8. And since they took that 5k before, I feel comfortable just taking another one here and going 3 life to 3 life. On our 7-down turn, this is going to be a very easy All Sunday turn. Firstly, I'm going to just swing 5. This is what I should have done last turn, but swinging 5 now, it's good to practice proper sequencing. He'll give us 1k All Sunday comes down here. We play out the Bond. We follow it up with a Merry Christmas. And honestly, at this point, I think I'm going to go ahead and remove that stage because it is really annoying to deal with, and I would like to draw an additional card, and we're in no rush, especially with the Hakuba. If we're allowed to use the Hakuba, we can go Croc, and use the Hakuba, pop our Bond Clay to get more and more value here. So that's why we ended up doing that, removing the stage, because we're not in any rush. Alrighty, our opponent's going to be on their 8-Don turn. They're going to play out a Trafalgar Law. This is most likely going to bounce back one of the Peronas and play out either a Tashigi or another 5-cost Perona. I guess we'll have to end up and see. They could also bounce back their 5-cost Perona, replay it back out, kind of like Zoro players did with their Tashigi. But that's not going to be the case. They're going to play out the 5-cost Tashigi. This is going to be a great little target since it's rested for us to just attack into with our characters on board and dwindle down their hand size, as it is pretty hefty. They'll go ahead and use leader effect, re-standing 3-Don with the Prona. We're going to go 8 into our leader. I think we're just going to go ahead and take this one. That way we can just keep building our hand size. That is All Sunday, which is a great play if we don't want to play out the Croc on the next turn. 6 with leader. This is just an easy 2k out of here. Now we're going to be taking our turn 9-Don. Now we can potentially do the Hakuba plus the Crocodile play. We're going to start with a 2k or a Miss Valentine into the Prona, just clear out the wimpy guys so we can't use that on with the leader effect. We'll go 8 into their Tashigi. Hopefully they give us 2 cards out of hand just to counter this out. We do know they have some events, but most of their events are for their leader, but we do know they have the Trichilocasm, which will not have enough Don in order to get the plus 4k boost, so that's very fortunate for us. And he does go ahead and play it. That's only give that 2k, so got to give that 1 extra 1k. Great value for us. From here, I do make a misstep. I should be attacking with my Bond Clay at least a face, 5 to face, to pressure it. I don't. I'm going to use my Hakuba swinging 7 into the Tashigi so I can pop the Bond Clay and play out my boy Mr. 5, blocker. He'll draw 2, discard 1. I'll get rid of this Disappointed, which we will not have enough Don to use for. And we'll see if he's going to be able to counter out of this another 2k. Ideally, he would have. Okay, he doesn't. He lets that go, which then means to us that we're clear to go with the Croc line. We can go ahead and stun the Perona, then use our leader effect to pop our Croc, turn this Law into 0, discard a card out of our hand. Let's discard a Zala, most likely, or a Babe, which is good to set up for the Sunday. I'll get to draw a card because there is a card with 0 on the board when my Croc is replayed, and we'll go 5 to face. And we are in a really dominating position. They have 1 swing next turn, and with 10 Don, the most they can do is a Law and Beppo play to somewhat, recover and hold some defense. They're going to go ahead and counter out that swing. Now, again, like I was saying, they have very limited ways to deal with this board. This Crocodile is now going to be stunning a card every turn, and if they don't deal with Hakuba as well, that Hakuba is going to be able to KO my Croc an additional time on top of the leader effect, continuously stunning multiple things. Here comes the 9-cost Drakegill Mihawk. He's going to go ahead and use leader ability to restand 3-Don, and now he's going to prevent one of my 9-cost cards from not being able to rest themselves. Now, he's going to go after the Crocodile. Is this the best play? I'm not too sure, but it does make sense to, prevent me from attacking from a 10k body. He's going to go 9 into the All Sunday. I think that was a mistake as well. I was able to just 2k out of that one. And now, even though I don't have a Croc in my hand, I do have ways to try and find it, as well as I'm going to still be able to do my double stuns this turn. I'm going to go 7 firstly with the Hakuba, popping my Crocodile. I'm going to reduce the Perona by 5. That way there's a card with 0 on the board. This is only helpful if we needed something with 0 so we can draw with the Crocodile, but he does have the Mihawk, which is 9 cost or more, so it would be able to draw me a card nonetheless. This is just something that I micro do, so that way it's good habits for later. I go ahead and resolve the Croc effect. Now I'm preventing his Drakegill Mihawk from not being able to attack. He takes that 7k to lead. We'll swing 9 out at him. This way we're playing around him using his Drakegill Mihawk leader effect and a 2k, or not his leader effect, the character effect, and a 2k to get out of that one. And from here, it's kind of like we're really in control because we're going to be able to prevent this Law or Perona from attacking next turn. And I'm even thinking about playing out, since I'm in such a leading position, playing out another Hakuba to take advantage of that just 1 Croc over and over again. I'll pivot to 7, keeping my Don up, so I have enough Don to play out a Zala, another Hakuba, and still 1 more for a ground death. I'm trying to be really defensive here, just in case of some cards that I'm not expecting. He most likely is going to block 2k this, or he'll counter out of it using his Mihawk character effect, give them an additional 2k counter, and then a 1k from here. I don't think there's a risk of us losing since rush is very limited, so we could even position to attack with our Mr. 5 if we wanted to put out another 7k swing and just hold up the ground dust as super defensiveness. He's gonna go ahead and take it, so that means to me that he's turbo bricked up. We're gonna swing 7 to lead now, or I'm sorry, we're gonna use our leader effect to use the crocodile to KO our crocodile, so that way we can go ahead and freeze the Perona here. The reason I would do the Perona over the Law is because if they attack with the Law, then they lose out on the blocker, which is really good for us. Alternatively, this turn I could have gotten super greedy, use a ground death to negate that Law's effect, and swung the rest of my Don with the Mr. 5, which is what I'm actually going to be doing now, just because, again, he let that 7k swing go. So this leads to me to believe that, hey, you know, you probably don't have it. If you got it right now. But even so, only having 2 swings, no rush, there was no way we were coming out of this. GG's on that one. Our next match is going to be up against Blue Yellow Boa. Now, truthfully, guys, this one does not have Hakuba in it. I know you came here for Hakuba. I know, I get it. However, I was queuing into Boa Hancock's maybe like for 5 hours and I didn't see Hakuba. I blame the simulator for not being able to give me it. But I wanted to show this one off just because this Boa player had everything. And I mean everything. But we will see how Crocodile does into them, even when Boa players have everything given to them. I know this is an extremely hard matchup. It's a very frustrating matchup, but I just want to show it off so that other people can learn from it. So we do nothing. We don't have any. We didn't really have much on our first couple turn plays. They set up a Hiyori, which means that Gorgon Sisters is definitely the top life. We are going to play out Merry Christmas just to fill our trash a little bit and draw a card and cycle. And we're not going to do anything else from here because we don't want to just give them a free play Gorgon Sister right off the bat. Alright, our opponent's going to be at their 5 Don turn. They're just going to load up on their Boa, and they're going to hit me really hard. Just going to have to take that from here. We still aren't really seeing the things that we're needing. We don't have the Hakuba, which is something we're really trying to get on the board. But at this point on our 6th Don, we're just going to throw out a Zala pass here. Again, very much in the red. And the Silver's Aurelia is going to come down and just remove it. So even if this was Hakuba, it would have just been removed in this case. So I don't feel too bad. I'm tweaking out in the chat a little bit. Again, like I said, I was searching for Boas for 4 hours, just trying to facilitate this video here. But nonetheless, they're going to go do what they have to do. I'm at my 8 Don, so I have routes where I can go ahead and play out the Crocodile. All Sunday would also be pretty good, just so I can fill out my board, especially with the Bond Clay. That's exactly what I'm going to do, and I stay a little defensive as I do have multiple ground deaths in my hand. We're going to go ahead and play out a 5 from trash. We're probably going to get out a Zala, but I pivot for Gem here so that way I can cycle and draw some cards. Putting out a blocker is pretty good too, so that way we have more protection towards the silly little things, since we're going to be getting our life burned with something like this 9 cost Boa. A big reason I didn't play out the Croc last turn was because I was just waiting for another bigger target on top of this Rayleigh to stun, because we'll be able to double stun on the turn it's played. From here, we'll go 8 into the Rayleigh. It is not a Boa card, so we're not scared of it. And we'll actually swing 5 into their leader now, because we know the top card wasn't this one they stacked with Hiyori, but it didn't matter because they have a Shokayaku. Which is not going to be the end of the world, because we're still going to do the Croc line that we were trying to do and being able to stun both of these cards. And we'll be able to draw 1 because there's a card with 8 or more on the board, which is that Boa Hancock. We'll use leader effect here. Probably just going to discard Brick out of my hand, so maybe this Patchwork is like looking good, or Mikata, so that way we can go ahead and play back out Croc and draw a card in the process. Our little victory here is going to be shortly lived, because our opponent is going to go ahead and slam 6 for a red rock, sending our Crocodile to the bottom of the deck, which is terrible news for us because we do not have another Crocodile in rotation. Our opponent's going to go ahead and swing 8 from here. We'll just ground death to get out of this attack. And for our turn draw, we got another All Sunday, so it's looking like an All Sunday turn from here, which won't be incredibly bad since we do have the Bond Clay set up. We will play out a Valentine, try to search for another Croc, we'll end up just getting a 2k counter. We'll use our Crocodile effect. We're not going to mill because we don't want to mill out a Crocodile, and we'll go ahead and play out most likely a Zala, since it's going to be the only one doing the most right here. and which we do. From here, we're pretty much going to either just swing 5, that way we can go ahead and get some counter out of the hand. We know that this is a card that they stack with the Hiyori earlier in the game, so I kind of want him just to trigger out now. He'll give us a 2k counter. I'll swing 9. I really just want him to already get it on the board. If it's something that we should be dealing with, I'd rather have them do it now while we have some life. He ends up using that slave arrow and the Hiyori to counter out this 9, which was pretty interesting. He goes ahead and slams out another Hancock, giving them an additional life, taking our life. And now we have a big turn here that we have to get out of. We will free block with our gem. 10k is coming towards us. I think I should have taken this one here realistically, but I end up countering with a ground death and a 2k. And then our opponents get swing 6. We will just 2k counter as well, preserving this last bit of life that we have because we don't want to get Perfume Fumered out of the game. This is actually a decent turn because this, with that patchwork, this enables us to have a triple stun turn, which is something I'm probably considering doing at the moment. But they still have 5 life, so we're very far away from getting to game here. I'm going to swing 5 into their leader, see if they're going to end up taking that. They give us a 1k. We'll just swing 7 to leader. We know this isn't a life that they stack, so we gotta hope for the best here. And it's a Shokuyuki, so they're going to be able to draw a card off leader effect, free play it, and then draw 2, discard 2, which is pretty devastating for us because we needed them to whiff out something. We will just go swing 8 into their leader. We got to put them into a lethal spot for the following turn. There's the Gorgon Sister. It's like I called it from the very beginning. Gorgon Sister coming down. This is going to make things incredibly difficult on our crackback, but we are going to end up being able to stun multiple bodies here. We swing again with an 8. They take it. Luckily, no trigger this time, guys. Woohoo! Yeah, baby! We are going to go ahead and drop down our Crocodile. Luckily, we're going to be able to stun both of these big boas, drawing the card in the process, using our leader effect to pop out the Croc. Minus this. Now, check it. Ready? We are going to minus 10 cost that boa, and that is rested currently, so that way we can use this patchwork to make sure that that boa does not restand on the next turn, doing a triple stun, leaving 1 up just to bluff the fact that maybe we have ground death, because ultimately that would really save us. And he puttings our big hand just so that way he can facilitate game on this turn potentially, taking out all my cards. But little did he know I actually didn't have ground death, and you just put a ground death into my hand. No 2k counters, but the whole hand is counters, so this is gonna be helping us this turn. Our opponent will go 7 to our leader. We are going to have to make a game time decision here of what we're going to do, but we are most likely going to preserve all life because he just revealed that he has Perfume Femur in hand. So if we do not use this Mr. 5, we are going to lose it unless we kind of put the bait here. All right, we can kind of bait them into trying to go for game depending on what our last life is. Little do they, because again, they don't know that we have ground death, and this might be our only chance to win from this point. Our opponent is spreading the Dawn a little bit, already kind of foretelling what they're doing. This is probably bad behavior. And now knowing that our opponent has 7k leader, 3 Dawn remaining, I just take it, send it. I get the patchwork trigger, draw 2, trash 1, gets a 2k counter in my hand. So that means with the ground death, a 2k counter, and a 1k counter, I have the counter to get out of this 10k swing with unblockable, because he thinks that I do not have it. I send it in the chat. They say, bro, because I feel like if he played safe, he could have gotten out of this and won, but he got greedy, and there was the 4k and the 2k coming down. And with that ground death, this is game, because if you look at their hand, they only have 1 2k counter, and with all these bodies on board, there was nothing he can do to save him. So even with all the answers, everything, you still lose. For the last game of the day, we are going to be playing against Purple Doflamingo. Now, this is a pretty good matchup for Black Croc, but let me go ahead and show you how Hakuba incorporates into this and makes this matchup even better for us. We're going to be starting off first. We're going to play out the Merry Christmas, use leader effect, set up our trash, and draw just a card. Our opponent's going to follow this up with a Sugar, using its effect, and getting to search for a Monate. We are going to play out a Disappointed. We draw off the top. We're going to get ourselves a copy of either Bon Clay or Miss Valentine. We'll opt for Miss Valentine here. We're probably looking for that beautiful All Sunday. Since we are going first, let's play that on curve. It's a gorgeous play. And we'll just swing 6 into the Sugar. Our opponent is not going to use leader effect here to redirect. On their 4-Dawn turn, they're going to play out Baby 5 early. Now, if this one is to be KO'd, they can minus Dawn and gain a life, which is pretty good. They'll swing 6, we'll take it, and see another All Sunday, which can come in handy. We'll swing 5 into their leader, and let's just throw out the Hakuba now. We're playing this on curve. We're not really going to need it until later on to the game, and our opponent can really only interact with it with the 10-cost Doflamingo, so this is going to be like super strong for us just to stick around on the board. To the 7k, we'll give a 1k and 2k. That way we can fill our trash a little bit for this all Sunday play. We will get that Bond Clay out and a Mikata, getting ourselves that beautiful 8-cost Croc. I just love Gecko Moria. We'll use our Crocodile leader effect. We will reduce the Monet, turning it into a 0 and or this Baby 5. I think at this point we were thinking that maybe doing it to the Baby 5 would be really good here, just so we don't have to deal with it later and it's more pesky when our opponent wants to control what happens. We'll go the Das Bones to rest it. Now it's an easy target for a card like my Miss Valentine to just KO it. He can also redirect this attack if he really wants to, but ultimately he's going to probably end up having to take it and just gaining the life here. He will redirect to the Dellinger. Dellinger's effect will get him arrested on back. Top 5 search. He will grab another Monet. Now our Mr. 1 is just going to attack into it. Is he going to use the effect? Yes, he is. He'll give himself a life. We'll just swing 5 into his leader then. He basically just, that card basically said draw a card. Don -1, draw a card. Our opponent has a good amount of Don. They should be at their 9 Don right here. So they're not at that 10 yet to stun our entire board, which is fortunate for us. He's going to pepper in a 5 to lead. I'll probably give him this Mr. 1. And he'll throw a 7 our way. That's going to go straight to our leader. We'll take that, picking up a juicy 2k counter. And the 8-cost Doflamingo is going to come out here, spreading out his board and playing out another Monet. Thankfully, it's not a Virgo, but I don't think it really matters, since now we do have 9 Don to work with, which means that we now have access to the triple stun. So we will go pepper in a 5 to their leader, see what they do. If they redirect to one of their characters, it's not going to KO anything. So they'll probably just give us a 1k if they got it, or maybe they'll just take it since they don't want to lose too much of their hand size. Either way, not a great spot to be in. Now we'll pepper in that 6 after they give us that 1k counter, excuse me. He will go ahead and take that. This AK swing is going to be coming down right now. He can redirect this and basically to his 9-cost or his 9k Doflamingo, but he's going to end up just taking that one as well. We will just play down our Croc, draw a card because that Doflamingo is 8-cost, use our leader effect here to pop our Crocodile, discarding this Disappointed to stun that Monet. And now with that last Don, we are going to swing 7 into their leader, popping our Crocodile, and now asking our opponent if they are going to use their leader effect, which they do. They redirect it. We will be able to trash a card here, so we're going to trash our All Sunday, or maybe we'll trash a Ground Death. Yep, Ground Death goes, and that is the triple stun on their Monet, Dofi, and Monet in that order. Now we are sitting extremely pretty. They do have 10 Don now, so they can go for their 10-cost Doflamingo and stun out our bodies right here and kind of do exactly the same thing we did back to them. If they do, we do have the All Sunday play to alleviate this pressure. So if that ends up happening, it happens, but we are sitting in a really good spot, especially because this turn not much is going to be happening. And then when it comes back to my turn, I got a nice 10k Croc coming at their leader every single turn, especially since it has KO protection in the form of you just can never deal with it. If this Doflamingo was to pop an 8-cost character and pop the Croc, I can just discard a card and bring it out back to the board. So exactly like I said, he's going to Don -3, use the effect, stunning our 3 characters here. So no Hakuba turn, but we can still use our leader to stop that Doflamingo, that 10-cost Doflamingo from attacking. Our turn is going to be pretty loose here. They're going to use the Monet. They're going to redirect attack into the Monet. We are going to, I would most likely think we would search with the Mikata to see if we could potentially get another Croc online. That would be super good for us, but we can also just pivot and maybe just go 7 here and All Sunday. But before we do want to use our leader effect and go for the Croc play. The reason being is so that we could draw 1 additional card, and maybe that card would be that Croc that we needed. This is a big thing, skill check with this deck, about doing things in the right order or having the highest variable chance of resolving the or sorry, highest variable chance of seeing the exact cards that you're needing, especially because you have little micro interactions where you're drawing one card, discarding a card throughout the game. So we end up just doing the Sunday play. We play out Babe, who was able to use a blocker, who was able to recur back cards from the trash. So we're able to get back a Crocodile from the trash if we really need it, as well as just bolstering our defenses and putting up a bigger body in the form of all Sunday. And then we're going to leave this last Don up for our ground death. Our opponent has a massive hand size with just 1 life. They're going to, on their turn, they're going to swing 5 with Leader, 6 with Monet. We'll just give them the counter here. We're going to block with the Babe. And this is where we pick up another Crocodile to help us out. And they are playing an interesting tech card in the form of Kaido Linlin. Yes, this shocked the hell. This was like Kaido Linlin jump scare. But sadly, unfortunately, this Kaido Linlin is not going to be doing very much at all. Especially when we do have Crocodile, who is just going to make quick work of this. We'll go 10 to their leader. They end up just taking it. 8 to their leader. They can use their leader effect here to get a free, protect themselves from this free attack practically. Or they can give us 2 2Ks. They have so much cards in their hand. I don't know what they're holding on to. We will see. They use leader effect. Now we can swing 8s. They're gonna have to give us that 4K worth of counter. They give us a Gum Gum Gatling, not Giant, Gatling, and a baby 5. We just swing another 5 into their leader. They give us a 1K. And now we are going to play down the Croc. Now I'm thinking about how to do it just because they do have 10 cost bodies and we do need to have them be 9 or less in order to stun. So we will start by playing out a Crocodile. We will then stun their 8 cost Doflamingo. We'll swing 7 into their leader, making them have to give up at least 2 cards out of hand. We will KO our own Crocodile, -5 their Kaido Linlin. That way when we play out this next Crocodile, we can stun it because it is 9 costs or less. And do not forget, chat, we still have our leader effect online, so we will be able to leader effect, KO the Crocodile, and stun their big 10 cost Doflamingo right after this one. Again, we're not milling because we're getting close to the end of our deck, so we don't want to mill out and lose before we get to the winning position. And our opponent only has 6 cards going into their next turn. All 3 of their bodies are stunned. It's not looking good for them, chat. Our opponent's going to go ahead and start off their turn by swinging 6 with their Monet right into our Hakuba. This is going to be just an easy 1K counter with that Mr. 5, and following this they are going to go ahead and play out a baby 5, the one that gives them a life. It is KO'd, and then with the remainder of their Don, leaving up 2 of course, they're going to swing into the Hakuba. I have counter for it, and ideally I should probably be keeping the ground death so that way I can use it on the baby 5. End up using it, and they're going to go ahead and concede. I have way too many bodies on board that they are not going to be able to defend even with a slow beam and this baby 5. So that's going to be GG's. That's going to be it for this video. As always, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and I definitely encourage you guys to try Hakuba in your Black Crocodile list. It takes already a fun, intricate leader and makes it even more fun by adding more elements of KO opportunity to your deck. So take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.